Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and we are at Chancellorsville. It's May 1st, 1863. We are ready for battle. Historical battle in Grand Tactician, the Civil War. This game is set to come out just over a week from now, at least come to early access. Now, the main feature of this game is a campaign mode. We are going to take a look at that campaign mode. That it's just about ready, but there's still some balancing things that are being worked on. Currently, there's an 1861 and 1862 start campaign. By time it releases, there's supposed to be an 1863 campaign, and down the road, while still in early access, they'll have an 1864 campaign to go with it. I've tried the 1861 campaign twice now. I've actually even done some recording around that. It's difficult because you start pre-war, and they haven't quite figured out how to start the war properly with both armies building up and preparing for that war. So I will be trying an 1862 campaign over this next week, trying to get at least a handful of episodes into that to show you what that is like before we then begin a full-blown campaign, hopefully with the release in a week. For now, though, this first look is the Battle of Chancellorsville. Now, this battle is famous for a couple of reasons. One, the Union was caught on the north side of the river, and they tried to outflank General Lee's army by going further upriver and fording the river, getting across using some pontoon bridges, and bringing the majority of their forces out to the west across and try to sweep across and get General Lee from behind. However, they became aware of the movements and responded to them, and he split his own forces, sending the bulk of his forces to meet the charging forces of General Hooker of the Union, and they end up meeting at Chancellorsville. Despite being outnumbered, Lee, his units were more compact, tighter together, and had clear orders, surprising the Union, who thought they were going to surprise the Confederates. Instead, the Union ends up completely baffled by what happened. They're in the forest, they're on some hills, they're separated a bit, they don't quite know what's going on, and they hesitate, giving Lee a chance to initiate the attack. And under the leadership of Stonewall Jackson, they get this incredible victory, a major victory despite being outnumbered. But then the second thing that makes this battle famous is the fate of Stonewall Jackson. In the midst of the battle, into the evening, it's dusk, darkness is starting to set in, and his own picket lines see him and his men arriving, coming down this pathway, and they open fire. And Jackson takes a shot, goes down. He doesn't make it through the night. I think it was just the next morning or something like that he passes away. And Robert E. Lee famously says, I think it was, his left arm? Oh gosh, I don't remember the exact quote, but he famously goes on about how he lost his right-hand man. And Jackson does pass away from that. But with that, let's go ahead and get to it. Here is our first look at Grand Tactician Civil War. With 94,000 troops, the Union should have superiority here. We certainly have numerical superiority to the 58,000 that the Confederates bring to this fight. But again, in real life, the confusion is what is going to lead to defeat for the Union. So let's see if we can keep our units organized. I do have this set to AI having some bonuses, so they're going to be tougher to beat. Also, I have it set to dynamic, so they are not going to go for the historical viewpoints, because this is a battle that I actually do know a fair bit about. I spent 10 years as a history teacher, and while the Civil War is definitely not my strongest area historically, I did take a single college class surrounding the topic of the Civil War, and specifically battles within the Civil War. And it just so happens that I did a project on Chancellorsville, which is where that information is coming from, but it's been a lot of years since then, so that's why a few of the specifics of the battle are a little vague in my memory at this point in time. Alright, so it looks like we have 3 battle objectives that we are looking to take on this one. And let's go ahead and get our kind of first look. So here's the group that's come across the ford, and you can see all the way down to Chancellorsville. So we've already made our way down here. It's a little further along than I thought it would be. I thought we would have been pulling back in further to the north, but that's okay. And we're making our way through Chancellorsville, trying to head towards Zion Church. So that's the main thing, this orange plank road. As we bring it on down, so we've already got some troops kind of scattered about through here. So we already hold Chancellorsville, that's interesting. And then Hazel's Grove. Yeah, see the Wilderness Church. We can expect that flanking. Yeah, there you go. There's Confederates coming in there and from here. So historically, this is Jackson's group coming up from the south, and this is where they're going to get into it. So Furnace Road, Hazel Grove, through this area. And then the bulk of the forces were expected to be there. They're marching along here, and then all of a sudden they get outflanked. Just completely caught under surprise. But again, with dynamics set, they won't necessarily carry it out how it is. So we're going to go ahead and give our first little set of orders here in just a moment. Okay. Howard's division starting to make their move. Now, one of the neat features about this game that I absolutely love is there's a realism element to it, both in the campaign on the general map, but here in battle maps as well. So as you're doing battles, you see how Howard's division is a little further away from our center. Near our center, it's really easy to give orders quick and have them carried out. But you can see these guys, they haven't moved yet. They're still locked in their position. And Howard, it took a little bit of time before they moved. The reason why is a courier had to make that short little jaunt over here, give them their orders, and then they go on their merry way. There's a delay because in real life, these guys aren't all right next to each other, and they don't have radios, and it looks like we have a reserve group all the way back here. Pleasanton, I think they're probably covering the rear. There we go, so these guys are starting to move as well. You can see how they take initiative and use roads a lot of the time, but we've got a couple units moving through the woods. This advanced 2nd Brigade already under Ross going into not just marching orders, but into a fighting formation. They use the terrain. They do use cover when it's available. They do all those things appropriately, so that's good. We are in the rain. It's a light rain, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, one thing you've got to be really careful of on this game is giving orders and then changing your mind. Reason being, back to what I was just talking about, where you have those delays. You give orders and they start carrying them out. You got troops on the move. And, for example, I've just spread out a bit from where we were. As a result, it's really hard to now go and change those orders once again. The delays often become significantly larger than what they had been. Looks like they're waiting for us. That's what it appears to be, anyway. Just small, cautious advances for now. We don't want to get caught out. Contact! Go. Battle has begun. Not just from a distance, but fully in earnest. Taken 9 casualties so far. 14 here. First Brigade's gonna get this artillery group. Guys up. And we have to protect their flanks, so we're going to bring these guys down as well. This is this mess of a 4th unit. Just going to hold the flank for now. Got overwhelming fire compared to that, so let's see if we're... Yes, we are getting back in check here. 188 casualties when it was nothing just a short while ago. We've got couriers coming in, so... Oh, everybody's taking a bit of heat, though. couriers coming in. They've got new orders. What are those orders going to be? It's just horses returning. Okay, we've got their artillery, horse artillery, on the run. This is good. So our first engagement is going well. I'm going to keep Whipple here on the flank because now we hold the crossroad here. The other two standing tall. We're just out of range. Let's go ahead and fix that. Let's get in range. 700 casualties. Yikes. Only 15 for their other brigade though. They haven't collapsed just yet, but they are really struggling. First brigade they're gonna run quite quickly. Taking some casualties too though. And nowhere near what's happened with their guys. Been moved out of range, but I'm going to let these two handle it for now. These guys have done enough fighting for a little bit, so we'll keep them relatively fresh. Okay, so we have a feud. Own initiative. This is part of the game too, and in real life you have a lot of instances of people not following orders and doing their own thing. People seeking fame or think they know better, and get all these weird scenarios where, actually, hold on, let's put it here. You can see a ways from there. Bring them up a bit closer. These guys have the potential to be outflanked. So let's bring you in. There's that second unit retreating. Looks like we found some more. Your Stewart's division. So more cav. Oh, that's just the division. Stewart's the commander of the division. There we go. We're down to just the one standing. We've already taken 200 casualties. And they have 3. They've got 116 actually. So let's bring up somebody. The 1st Brigade. Get these guys in range. Back into the fight, huh? And let's try to bring this artillery up. I haven't been firing at all. Stay in the woods, but let's actually go even further. Take a more advanced position here. And all these guys moving across. So bring you 800 casualties. They've got to be going down soon. There's the one who's ready to engage. That was the ammunition. 47, they're fine. 44, they're fine. Loss is still just 3. Here's the one who's clearly taken the fire. 489. Need to get them some help. But casualties here, 800. So, inflicted twice as many as they've taken. At least with the help of these other units. And these guys forward. Just once and for all. There we go. That did it. Alright, so the upper section of the road is now ours. Ah, there you go. Darkness has fallen. Fighting ceases for today. Prepare for next day's fighting or attempt retreating using the cover of darkness. So we have resupply of troops. Now this could be bad. This could be very bad. For one unit by itself. Alright, we've got a lot more than one unit. There you go. We have contact. They are tucked in back here in these corners. Already taken 4 casualties. 260 men in this artillery battalion. Whoa, ho, ho, there they are. There they are. Now, how are we doing? I've got one unit that is just decimated. Give them some support. Take these guys out. Okay, we're gonna have them concentrate fire on that group. I want these guys. Where are you? Sykes. Take out this other unit beside him. And that artillery. Let's get you all the way back here. See this opening, anything there. Look at that. There's that whole army right there. Up there, one group running. Gosh, only 3 casualties. You even fired at them? Some help. Sykes, your division to engage with these guys. Sure enough. Something a little more immediate here. take care of them and then get back. This guy's up there to support this as well. I'm taking some fire here. Out. Why they're so reluctant to engage. Alexander's battalion, they are taking casualties now, so we'll have them. We'll have them soon enough. Hunter's Brigade, there you go, 451 casualties. This is where I gotta watch out for. I'm a little weak through here. I need to bring up units to fill in this gap. This whole edge of the map thing is screwing with the game mechanics a little. There we go, they're falling back. And the flanking fire to go with it. Really strong on this flank. This flank is a bit of a mess. One, they made it into the woods, so we don't have the best position. We have a relatively equal position. And then I've got this hole in the center that's filled by artillery, of all things. They are definitely falling back, and that's good. Oh, they're in retreat. They are in full retreat now. Major victory on the way. There's just a few units putting up a little bit of a rear guard right here on this flank, and then that is it. So this will just about do it. Sending a unit in on charge, flanking these guys. They're shaken. And there we go. Got them. That unit, what's left of them, surrenders. There we go. Stonewall's unit has broken. Battle won. definitely. I take 7,000 casualties, mostly infantry, some gunmen. I had a single unit kind of get caught out of position there near the end of the battle. But after withdrawal, Lee's Army of Northern Virginia, 9,000 infantry dead. That's more than all my numbers total. 2,500 cavalry. Most of their cavalry is wiped out. Half their guns wiped out. 13,000 in all out of their 54,000. This is a major victory for us. The one thing the Confederates absolutely could not afford at any point during the Civil War was to take significantly more losses than the North, because the numbers were always to the advantage of the Union. 7,000, very acceptable losses as far as this war goes. But 13,000 out of an army of 54, they only have 40,000 left. And there are still well above 85,000 for the Army of the Potomac. Now, more than 2 to 1. So, if this were the real-life battle, this would be a huge turning point. This is easily Gettysburg in terms of scale, what it does to the war going forward. That's going to do it for this first look battle. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. And be sure to look out for the upcoming series. Like I said, I'm going to do a brief 1862 campaign over this next week. And then when Game Full launches, I want to try that 1861 and see if we can't get it working the way they intend for it to work. Be sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more great content, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.